God bless, God bless. This is Quap Gives. So the title for today is 3 years on semen retention. What have I learned? Oh, well, let's see. I believe I've gotten a bit taller. My posture is better. My voice is much deeper than it was before. I have more charisma. I've started reading a lot more. I can exercise for like twice as long as I used to. There's a lot of benefits, right? And I also know in the spiritual realm, there are benefits too, because what a lot of people don't realize is that when someone engages in sexual intercourse, right? And let's talk for the sake of the video, in a form of fornication, right? So you're sleeping with someone outside the confines of marriage, or you're masturbating. Anything you do that requires you to release your seed is actually feeding into the demonic kingdom. And so there are spirits that are waiting to collect your seed when you release. And this is why a lot of people find it hard to stop releasing, because not only does your physical body have these urges to release because it's looking for that dopamine hit, so you've created an addiction, but also there's external entities. Some might call them the outities, the ghosts, the spirits that are waiting to collect your seed. They're waiting for you to, find that woman, down the block. You go on Backpage or whatever, OnlyFans, and, you bust out your laptop and you pay her whatever kind of money and you're off to business. This is a common trait, because guys have not been trained to keep their pants up. They haven't been trained to resist these urges. In fact, this world teaches you to do as thou wilt. Just go and release, have fun. You only live once. Just make sure she's sweet, and make sure, as long as you get it in, that's the end goal. That's basically what they've been training men in this world. They've been training all the men to do that. Just hit it up. Don't think about the consequences. Doesn't matter. As long as she got a big butt, big breasts, that's it. Not even realizing the consequences of engaging in these acts, even a single time, let alone repetitively, let alone it's become the norm, and the cycle of toxic behavior just continues, man. The amount of doorways you're opening up to demons in your life is, you're going to learn eventually, right? And as far as I'm concerned, I do believe the reason a lot of people are beginning to retain their seed and to hold on to their life force and avoid having sex outside of marriage or even just masturbation is because they know how much it destroys the body. These things, it's the Most High God is very intelligent, and he understood that man would have a craving for certain things, which is why the punishment of not disciplining the body or having discipline over the body in these urges is actually the breakdown of the physical body. When you do things the way God intended, you will gain the benefits without these, immune system shut down, and you have no energy to go out and start a business and do the things you're supposed to do as a man. When you're chasing after cat and coochie and all these women, bro, you're not going to have no time to think and be yourself. You're going to be more focused on how to please this woman than you are going to be focusing on your career, your physique, your health, God. A lot women can take men off of their path in life if you allow it, and that's the thing, if you allow it. So being on retention is a way of saying, you know what, I can no longer allow the desires I have for this woman to override the importance of me taking my career seriously, the importance of me taking God seriously. These things are far more important than the woman, because in fact, if you don't have God or the career, then the woman's only going to last but for so long, right? So you need to make sure you're seeking the kingdom of God first. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of men, they got it backwards because we have been trained since we were young. Just find a woman, just make sure she's pretty. And, I believe a lot of parents were more concerned with their kids being gay, so they just wanted to throw their kids out into the rat race. Just at least as long as they got a girl, they're safe there, right? But at the same time, it's like, so then what? What do you do with that girl? And how do you make sure that you have enough skills and wisdom to support this woman, right? Just putting your dick in the woman is not enough to keep her satisfied. I'm sorry to say that, but it's not. So unfortunately, a lot of guys are going to have to find out the hard way, but that's reality. Your body wasn't designed to be abused. And in this world, there are a lot more important things than just having sex all the time. And I'm sure couples probably know this by now, It's like maybe at first, the first couple of months, that's what they love to do. But then it's like, the man's probably like, man, like, I ain't got no energy for nothing else, man. You got to give me a break. So there has to be a balance when it comes to releasing when you're in a marriage. And when you're not married, now this is when you need discipline. This is when you really got to be on your P's and Q's. Because this world, as we know it right now, is doing everything they can. When I talk about this world, I'm talking about the society, this construct, this matrix, the media. This system is they're using the technology. They're using every way they can to influence people to become promiscuous and seductresses. They're using the women to lure the men in, for men to fall victim to the woman's trap. Many women don't realize that a man naturally has a desire for them. So all the extra stuff they do, like putting on makeup, like dancing this way and just like showing their body, it's like, bro, you don't need to do all of that. A man is already attracted. But what the women end up doing is making it so hard for the man to resist that the man ends up losing himself in the pursuit of this woman, because it's just a fantasy. The women are meeting the fantasy of that man. And eventually what is going to happen is they're going to have to continue meeting that need of the man. And so the woman's going to have to become more promiscuous, more seductive, more alluring, more lustful. And the cycle continues. So you see in the Bible, it's like it talks about lust never being satisfied. There's no amount of sexuality that is going to get you that hit that makes you say, all right, I've had enough. Because you're always going to need more. That's why God told us, he warned us to avoid fornication. He warned us to avoid getting caught in the trap. He said, run, flee fornication. Don't observe, don't monitor, don't consider, just run the other way. That's basically where we're at in society. Everything put out there is to either take your money or it's to take your seed and your soul. So men, be very careful. Be very, 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 very careful. I hate to see when brothers fall because of a woman, let alone any other thing. But it's like a person that you're supposed to love and care for and invest in, and this is the end result of that union. It's like, it's sad, man. And it's not to say we blame the women, because we understand the agendas are there to manipulate the women to act in a certain way as well. So no, we ain't gonna blame the woman. However, we have to understand the importance of us disciplining ourselves so that we don't get lost and caught up in the trap of lust, right? These traps are set very, very well, and they're aiming for anyone to fall into that pit, because it's very hard to get out of the cycle of PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm. It's very hard to get out of that cycle when you're stuck and you're on your computer and you're home and you're lonely and you're depressed and you're bored and you have nothing to do. You have no one to call. Like, what is your life really about at that point? You're just, you're a bot. You're just being controlled. And that's what I'm saying. There's spirits that are controlling in the background, entities. Even these women on OnlyFans, they're hooked. They're controlled. They're in the metaverse already. And so y'all men who paying for these women accounts, everyone's caught up in the cycle, lost in the sauce, making fun of each other, thinking that they got one up on the other one, when really all y'all are all mosh up. Y'all are in the same boat. The person being exploited and the one engaging in the content of the exploited person. Like, the whole thing mosh up. So, as men, we have to make sure we are very, very careful that we don't allow the lust and the desires that we have to be in a relationship or to, have pleasure, that it overrides our logic, that it overrides our ability to abstain and to wait and be patient. Be patient for a woman. You don't have to have sex. You don't have to have an orgasm or to masturbate just to, enjoy your life, just to have a peace of mind. You don't have to engage in these things just to be yourself, just to feel comfortable. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. You're going to work up your nervous system and cause so much more damage in the long term. So it's better for you to find hobbies that you can count on, like, I don't know, exercising, going to the gym, basketball, biking, soccer. Really make the most of these things, and don't think that you're too old to get into these hobbies. Never think that. You're definitely not too old to, have a hobby and enjoy yourself outside of your house, man. You see, your house can become a very toxic place if you have not developed very productive habits. So usually in the home, it's like your computer's there, and it's like the porn's on the computer. You got direct access to the web, to the trap. And so you want to be in an environment where you can utilize your skills and where your mind isn't being idle. You always want to be doing something, so that way your mind isn't focusing on releasing. Your mind's not focusing on just getting one off, I would say one of the things I've learned during the 3 years of retention is how capable I am, right? Sometimes we don't know how much willpower we have until we accomplish something. And then when it's done, it's like, whoa, man, this was tough, but I made it. I made it through. I made it over the hurdle, and I'm still standing strong. And so it's a blessing because, I do believe having the discipline over the temptations of the body requires God. You need to have a relationship with God, because the devil actually has access to influence people in a particular way. So what God is going to do is he's going to fight the battles against these demons that are trying to afflict you to become possessed. This goes for the woman too. If you're dealing with the PMO cycle and you're stuck and you can't find a way to get out, you have to start praying. You have to deal with it in the spiritual realm. You're not dealing with a physical habit at this point. This is spiritual in nature. Get outside, go outdoors. Get into an environment where you can maximize your gifts and your abilities. Don't stay stuck up in your house, all alone in the dark. You don't want to do that. You need as much light as possible. So remove your laptop from your room, perhaps. Keep your phones out of your room. Keep your door open at all times. You got to develop certain habits that remove these temptations from overtaking you. Because it's 9 times out of 10 when you're alone is when you indulge in these behaviors. So if that's the case, get around positive people. Go outdoors. Keep the lights on. Be in an environment where your mind's not going to be idle focusing on having sex. Some wisdom I've learned is, change up your diet so that you're not eating foods that are going to make you feel horny all the time. You got to look into that. There's certain foods that will actually cause a person to desire sex. And then there are herbs and foods and teas that will suppress that sexual desire. So those are very important because you don't want to be eating like cayenne pepper and all these aphrodisiacs. It's just like, man, you wake up, first thing you're just trying to rock one loose. But you got to develop some more wisdom on why this battle is so hard to fight. And don't give up. Don't justify it because it's comfortable. That's all I'm saying. Don't justify it because it feels good. Keep fighting. Stand strong. And God is good. He'll help you win this battle, all right? So God bless and give thanks.